Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk to you about Indiana 211 and what we have to offer. My name is Sherry Bowers-Duker. I am a Community Engagement Coordinator with 211, and I am accompanied by Jill Shimon, who is also a Community Engagement Coordinator, and she will be monitoring the Q&A section for us today. So as I'm presenting, if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in the Q&A section. And she'll let me know as those come in, and we will try to address them as we go on. Otherwise, we will address any remaining questions at the end as well. And then Jill will also be posting some helpful links in the chat, so make sure you pay attention to those as well. So for anyone who is not aware, Indiana 211 is a division of the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration. 211 was formerly a nonprofit, but transitioned to being a part of FSSA in 2020. The learning objectives for today's presentation are to know the mission Indiana 211 serves and what resources are available in our statewide database, understand what to expect when calling Indiana 211, and learn how Indiana 211 community engagement tools can benefit you in your work. Indiana 211's mission is to improve the quality of life for Hoosiers by connecting people to health and human service resources through highly skilled navigators, continuous community collaboration, and a robust community database and technological innovations. So what is 211? Indiana 211 is a free service that connects Hoosiers with help and answers from thousands of health and human service agencies and resources right in their local communities, quickly, easily, and confidentially. And we do like to stress that our services are completely confidential because not knowing that can sometimes create some apprehension and make people hesitant to call 211. Additionally, there are no eligibility requirements, income standards, or any other rules. Anyone can call 211. Here are some fast facts about 211 to get us started. So Indiana 211 serves all residents of Indiana. The average call received at 211 is about 10 minutes long. In 2024, Indiana 211 received over 170,000 calls and provided over 560,000 referrals. And the reason there are so many more referrals than calls is because our community navigators try to provide 3 referrals for each need that a caller has, if possible, and many callers have more than one need when they call in. With these calls, we averaged about 14,200 calls each month, serving over 9,500 individual callers. And the difference there is because we do have individuals who call 211 more than once. And the greatest needs that we saw in 2024 were for housing, utility assistance, and food. So as I mentioned, Indiana 211 is statewide, so our resource database covers all 92 counties, and any community navigator who answers the phone is able to look at resources within just the client's local community. We have thousands of services represented in the database, and they are maintained and updated by the resource curation team to ensure that we are providing accurate referrals with the most up-to-date information. So as I mentioned, in 2024, the top 3 needs we referred people to were for housing, utility assistance, and food and meals. And the remaining top 10 needs include individual, family, and community support, which includes services such as case management, home repair services, and support groups. And then there is legal, consumer, and public safety concerns, healthcare, income support and assistance, transportation, clothing, personal and household needs, and then general information services. And other resources that we can refer individuals to include mental health and substance use disorder treatment programs, employment programs, disaster services, domestic violence, sexual assault, and trafficking resources, libraries, job readiness programs, childcare, and much more. So now I'll talk about how individuals can access Indiana 211. There are three easy ways to access 211. People can dial 211 directly, and as long as someone is in Indiana, that should direct them to Indiana 211. But on occasion, if someone is close to a bordering state, it may direct them to a 211 agency in a different state. So they can always dial our full number as well, and that will always take them to Indiana 211. And if anyone prefers to communicate via text rather than over the phone, they can also text their zip code to 898211 and communicate with one of our navigators via text and receive referrals that way. Lastly, they can always visit our website to search for information as well. Last year, we implemented an online guided resource search that allows both community members as well as service providers to search for resources on their own. And even though we have the texting and the online searching available, it is important to keep in mind that an individual is going to get the most comprehensive assistance by calling 211 because our community navigators are trained to ask questions to identify the exact needs that a caller has and identify whether they are eligible for various resources.
Sherry, I accidentally muted you.
I was just about to say,
Sorry,
I think I got
I
muted.
meant I meant to unmute myself. We have a question, and I
Okay.
honestly am not certain of the answer, so I'm going to read it out loud if that's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, does the person calling 211 need to activate or have an active cell phone plan, or can they dial on Wi-Fi? I think if they dial the full toll-free number, they will still get through to a call navigator. Is that correct? They just wouldn't be able to use the 211 only dialing.
I believe so. I'm not sure how that works. My guess is if they're able to make any phone calls, whether they're using data or on Wi-Fi, if they're able to make a phone call, they can get in contact with 211. And if there's ever issues dialing just 211, then yeah, as Jill mentioned, definitely use that full number. All right, is that our only question for now, Jill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I did want to share a little more information about our online guided search, so that you all are aware in case you ever need to help students or families get connected to resources online. This is available right on our homepage when you go to in211.org. The guided search is beneficial for finding simple resources quickly when someone may not need that additional assistance that our navigators can provide. You can either choose from the service categories shown on the screen here, or you can select the advanced search option to search by keyword. In the top right-hand corner of the screen, you will also notice that there is a Google Translate option, and when a language is selected from that drop-down, it will translate the entire page to that language, as well as all of the search results from the guided search. And then if you choose to search by service category, once you click on a category, you can then select a more specific service type to narrow your search even further. So in this example, I've opened up the food category, and from there I can select a more specific service such as food pantries. And from those service categories, once you click on a type of service, then a list of various resources will appear, as well as a map showing where they're located. From there, you can enter a zip code, and that will automatically display the resources in order of closest to furthest away from that zip code. If you're using the guided search on a mobile device, then you can also select the Use My Location option instead of entering a zip code. You'll also notice that on this page you have a keyword search as well. So if you wanted to narrow the food pantry resources even further with a keyword or agency name, if you're aware of an agency that offers a food pantry, then you could do that as well. And then lastly, there is a target populations filter that allows you to narrow the resources to ones that serve a specific population if available. And once you have your search narrowed down the way you would like with all of those search options, you'll notice that each resource listing provides all of the information needed for a referral. And you will have the option to either email or text individual resources to yourself or whoever is in need of the resources. Or you can save multiple resources to a list to either save or print. The other option for searching for resources in the guided search was to select that advanced search option that appeared at the end of the service categories. So with the advanced search option, you can still enter a zip code and keyword or agency, but the difference is you don't start with a service category like we did before. So here, the resources that populate will be based entirely on the search terms that you choose. And there are a couple different ways to search on this page. So to get the type of resource you're looking for, you can either enter a keyword, service name, or agency name, like we saw before. Or there's another box that asks what type of services are you looking for? And here you can type a word and then choose from a drop down of suggested service types. And then to narrow your search to the area you want, you can enter a zip code like we saw before to sort the results from or by resources that are closest to furthest away from that zip code. And then after you hit search, you will see those same target population filters that we saw with the last search method. And then once you have search results, whether it's from choosing a service category or using the advanced search option, if you choose to save resources to a list to print, this is what that list looks like. So it has all of the same service details that we were able to see in those search results. And then in addition to the guided search, the resources in the Indiana 211 database can also be found on our online resource app, is what we refer to it as. The app can be accessed on our website, which again is in211.org. And at the top of the screen, you would just go to the Community Engagement tab and then click on Print a Community Resource List. So while the guided search that we just looked at provided a more detailed list of resources in a specific service category, the resource app provides a more concise list of agencies that provide a broader category of resources. So this can be helpful if you're wanting to print a much larger, more general list of resources to have on hand to be able to provide to families. So when you open the resource app, you will first be prompted to select the county for which you're wanting resources. You can also select multiple counties if you want resources from more than one county on your list. In this example, we've selected Adams County, and then we would just hit search. And then we will see a list of all of the services we have listed in the database that serve Adams County. You'll notice that the first two services on the list are not actually located in Adams County because those are resources that serve the entire state. So statewide resources will show up with each county search as well. Once you get to this page, you can also narrow your search by typing in a specific zip code in the county that you chose if you would like. And then on the left-hand side, you will see the service categories we have to choose from. So by default, all categories are already selected, but you can also just click uncheck all and select the categories of interest. So as I mentioned before, these are broader service categories than those that appear on the guided search. So for example, if I selected just basic needs, then the list would include all agencies that offer food pantries, clothing pantries, shelters, other housing resources, and any other resource that falls under basic needs. And then you also have the option to type in the search bar at the top to search for a specific resource if you know what you're looking for. Then once you have narrowed the search as far as you would like, you can either add all of the resources to the list or check specific resources to add to your list, and then you would click Print and View List. And this is what the final printable list looks like. The services are grouped by category if you had multiple categories selected, and you can see the service and agency name for each resource as well as the contact information. So again, you will not see as many service details on this list as you would if you produced a list from the guided search, but this can be useful if you're wanting a larger, more concise list of resources. All right, so now that we have covered how to search for resources on our website, we're going to transition back to calling 211. So any Hoosier looking for services can call Indiana 211, and that's whether they are calling for themselves or on behalf of someone else. Our callers include the people who are needing services themselves, as well as medical professionals, advocates, school counselors, social workers, other school personnel, neighbors and friends, and family members. So we wanted you all to be aware that you are able to call 211 with or on behalf of a student or family to help get resources for them if you would like. And then additionally, a caller does not need to be in crisis to call 211. They can call for any assistance they need and just don't know where to go to get it. 211 is not considered a crisis line, but if someone calls in crisis, our navigators are trained to intervene and can even get them connected to 988 now as well, which I will talk more about here in a moment. So next we're going to talk about what someone can expect when they call 211. So when someone calls 211, they will speak with one of our community navigators who are the connectors to community resources. We have 57 community navigators who all receive 3 weeks of training prior to starting. We do have both English and Spanish speaking community navigators, but they also have access to a service that allows them to connect with interpreters for over 240 other languages. If a caller agrees to it, then the navigator will ask a series of social determinants of health questions to help them understand where a caller is at the time of the call. Sometimes people call for one need, but in asking some additional questions, there may be other issues that the community navigator can also offer resources for. A 211 call really is much more than just a phone call. Our community navigators recognize when callers may need some advocacy, and they're able to advocate by calling an agency with the client on the phone, introducing them, and then providing a warm transfer over to that agency that they're being referred to. Our navigators also recognize which callers may need some follow-up from them, and they schedule those follow-up calls as needed. So our community navigators are able to assist with all types of needs, and our main navigator line is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But we do also have some more specialized lines to streamline some of the more complex types of needs. So we have a line for the Child Care Development Fund, or CCDF, as well as three other child care lines for facility complaints, facility referrals, and facility referrals for individuals whose preferred language is Spanish. And all of the childcare lines are available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well. And then we also have 3 lines in collaboration with the Indiana Department of Mental Health and Addiction, or DMHA, one of which provides Lyft rides to substance use disorder treatment facilities. The second includes a substance use disorder information helpline. And the third provides referrals to peer coaches for mental health, substance use, and recovery services. And all of the DMHA lines are available 24/7. And then one other option that people will hear when they call 211 is the option to get connected to 988, which is the state's suicide and crisis lifeline. 988 can assist individuals who are experiencing thoughts of suicide, a mental health crisis, a substance use crisis, or emotional distress. We started collaborating with 988 because we recognize that helping individuals get connected to both 211 for health and human services, as well as 988 for those specialized mental health resources when necessary, is important for implementing whole person care. Even if someone does not choose the 988 option when they call 211, our navigators can do that warm transfer over to 988 if they feel that it is necessary. And then lastly, although 211 is only available by phone Monday through Friday, 988 is available 24/7. Here is a list of the social determinants of health questions our community navigators ask. So they ask, what is your employment status? What is your current yearly household income? What is the highest level of education you have completed? What is your living situation today? In the past 12 months, has the electric, gas, oil, or water company threatened to shut off services in your home? Within the past 12 months, have you worried that your food would run out before you could get more? Do you receive SNAP benefits? In the past 12 months, has a lack of transportation kept you from medical appointments, meetings, work, or from getting things you need for daily living? Do you currently have health insurance? And does anyone, including family, ever insult or talk down to you? So these questions are beneficial because they help the community navigator determine whether the client has additional needs that they can assist with that they may not have mentioned when they called in. Also, depending on the caller's answers, some of these questions will actually trigger an additional assessment or pre-screening that the navigator can use to better assist the caller. So, for example, for questions 6 and 7, if the caller is identified as food insecure and does not already have SNAP, then the navigator will offer to do a pre-screening for SNAP eligibility and then make that referral as needed. And as for another example for question 10, if the caller says anything except never, then a domestic violence assessment will populate so the navigator can determine whether the caller is safe at the moment and help them develop a safety plan if needed before continuing with referrals. And then next, I will briefly talk about our resource curation team. So we have 6 curators who are dedicated to the Indiana 211 resource database information. They do a full update of every agency in the database on an annual basis, and they do this by either reaching out via phone or email or by using the annual update link. If an agency has verified their email address with us, then they receive a link when their annual update is due, and that allows them to make their updates online. Our curators also make partial updates throughout the year if they see any announcements on social media about an agency's information changing, or if an agency submits an update request on our website. We currently have 4,457 agencies in the Indiana 211 database, with a total of over 7,000 sites among those agencies and over 9,000 services offered at those sites. So, of these agencies, about 58% are nonprofit, 38% are government, just 3% are commercial, and then 1% is categorized as other. And the other category is primarily just coalition groups and resources that are offered during a disaster that are not necessarily provided by one single agency. And then lastly, I will cover community engagement. We have two community engagement coordinators. One of our roles includes analyzing data from the calls that we receive to identify unmet needs and determine which communities and agencies should be engaged to try to fill those gaps. We also give community-based presentations, present at conferences, and table at various community events. So if any of you would ever like to have a 211 table at a school resource or health fair, or would like us to present during a staff meeting, you can inquire about that. And I will show you how to request that we speak or table at an event here in a moment. We also have two community engagement curators who work with the two of us to help identify new resources and curate that information in the database, as well as collaborate with the new agencies that we add to the database to help them better understand Indiana 211.
Sherry,
Yes.
we have a question.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they mean, do we charge? They're asking if we charge. Everything listed in our database is listed free of charge, and our speaking engagements and presentations, that is all free as well. So there is no charge.
All right. Thank you, Jill. Let's see. All right. So, as I just mentioned, our community engagement team relies heavily on data to guide the work that we do. And we actually have a data dashboard available on our website that allows agencies to learn more about their communities through our data as well. The dashboard can be found under the data tab on our homepage, along with a data request form which allows anyone to request additional data from us if they're looking for specific data they're not able to find on the data dashboard. And so that data would include like the call volume that we get from various counties throughout the state, the types of needs that people are calling in for from those counties. And then also there is some demographic data available on that dashboard as well. So we just wanted to let you all know about that in case anyone is interested in looking at that data for their local community. And then here are the community engagement tools that we have available on our website. We already took a look at the resource app that allows you to print a community resource list, but this tab also links to our community events calendar, our Indiana 211 University page, our request a speaker form, and our marketing materials page. And I will briefly let you know what each one of those is. So our community events calendar lists free and low cost one-time or short-term events that are not listed in the Indiana 211 database due to not being ongoing services. So the calendar serves two purposes. One is so that we can help hosting agencies spread the word about their events. And the second is to give our community navigators additional resources to provide to callers when the events meet their needs as well. We list events such as resource, job, and health fairs, diaper, food, and clothing distributions, free haircuts, parenting education classes, immunization clinics, and more. And you can search the calendar by event type, by day, or by county. And when you click on an event that you see in the list, you can see all of the necessary details for the event. And then agencies can actually add their own events to the calendar by setting up an account. Instructions on how to do that are at the bottom of the calendar page on our website. But if anyone is ever trying to add events and is having difficulty with that process, you can always send the events to us via email as well. And at the end of the presentation, I will share our community engagement email, and that's who you would want to reach out to. So, Indiana 211 University was a live monthly webinar that we hosted for about a year. We streamed and recorded sessions on Indiana 211 operations and Indiana 211 data in various regions of the state. And we had some guest speakers present on topics such as suicide prevention and awareness, domestic violence awareness, veterans resources, and more. And the recordings of all of those past sessions are available on that 211 University page if anyone is interested in watching those recordings. We have just one more scheduled session that is actually tomorrow morning, and we will cover Indiana 211 call data from the southeast region of the state. Other than that, we do not have any more live sessions scheduled for this year because we will be transitioning to hosting in-person sessions throughout the state in 2026, and we will have more information on that at a later date. And this is what the request to speaker form looks like. So any agency that would like to request that we speak to their staff or present or table at an event can complete this form and we will review it and get back to you. And lastly, on our marketing materials page, you will find an order form where you can order some of our 211 wallet cards, bookmarks, or domestic violence wallet cards for free. And we will mail those to you for free as well. And this page also has some downloadable materials like our flyer that you can print yourself if you would like, as well as some graphics and flyers that you can promote on social media or print for seasonal resources such as warming and cooling centers, holiday resources, tax assistance, things like that. And so we highly encourage you to check out our marketing materials page and request materials if that's something that you think would be helpful for to have on hand to let students and families know about 211. All right, and then here is the contact information for our community engagement team. So if you have any questions after today about anything I covered or anything related to 211, this is how you can get in contact with us. And I will leave this on the screen here. And it looks like Jill put it in the chat there too, if that's easier for anyone to copy and paste. Um, but we will go ahead and take any remaining questions that we have. Do we have any questions right now, Jill?
I am going to go over a couple of questions we did receive. First,
Okay.
I'm going to go back to the original question about if a person did not have an active cell phone provider or an active cell, could they call Indiana 211 through Wi-Fi? And I have a follow-up to that. I checked with the call navigator manager and deputy director of Indiana 211, Jamie, and she said that it does not work like it would if you were calling 911, where it's automatic whether you're calling through Wi-Fi or a cell phone. But um, like Sherry said before, if you dial the full number and you are able to dial through your regular Wi-Fi any other person or any other number, it should work. And then we had a question about just a reminder how to go about requesting that an Indiana 211 representative attend, say, a wellness fair or a school community resource fair, that kind of thing. You would fill out a speaker request form. We do have to have those approved. And so that the link for that is in the chat. There was another question. Oh, I went over the question. There are no fees to be listed in the database, but we do have a criteria that we follow. So once person submits a request to be added to the database as a resource, uh, the request is reviewed by the curation management, and as long as the it meets the guidelines, someone will follow up with you and get that listing added to the database.
Yeah,
And
and those resource listing guidelines are available on our website as well. We didn't cover that today, but if anyone is interested in reviewing those guidelines, they are on our website.
yes, and so the very bottom link that I put in the chat, the very last one, is the main Indiana 211 page for FSSA. And so there you can access requests for a speaker, requests for marketing materials, the link to the past Indiana 211 University webinars, um, and the community calendar. That I think you can just about get anywhere from that page, the FSSA page. And then anytime, of course, you need to find resources for yourself or for anybody in your lives, including your students, in211.org is the main thing to remember. And that is where you would access the data dashboard as well. And you can also request materials and speakers through that site as well.
Yeah, and all of our forms, even everything that appears on our FSSA page, all of it is linked on our main website, in211.org. So that's really the website you want to remember. You can access everything from in211.org. All of those additional links that Jill shared with you today can be accessed from our main website.
And I've put our toll-free number for the community engagement team as well as our email address in the chat. And we are on Eastern time zone. We are based in Indianapolis. So when Sherry shared the hours of the various call lines, those were on Eastern time. Someone did ask
Yes,
that.
good
So
point. Good question. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions for us today? All
I
right,
just want to sum it up by saying educators, I believe, have one of the hardest jobs in today's world, and we're grateful for all that you do, and hopefully this helps you in your daily jobs.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you all for what you do, and thank you for joining us today. It looks like we do not have any more questions at this time, so if any questions come up later, again, feel free to reach out to us at this phone number,
Oh,
email that's on the screen. Oh, did we just get one?
no, it was just a very kind remark. It's a thank
Okay.
you. This is fabulous for someone who is new to Indiana.
Oh,
So
wonderful. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today.